And now let's bring in Ambassador Manju Seth, former Indian senior diplomat, on the show. Welcome there, ma'am, to the show. First of all, the question of leadership. Who is likely to be the next leader of Venezuela? Could it be Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, who said she's ready to cooperate with the Trump administration, but has also declared Maduro the sole president, demanding his release, and has vowed to defend the nation?
Absolutely, I think it's a big question mark at the moment. But since she has agreed to cooperate and work with the US, President Trump will, as he said, see how the new administration is, and we will then take the next step. So he's ready to work with her, and she has to. His messaging is clear, President Trump's. You do as I say, or else. And he has even threatened her already, saying that her fate will be worse than Maduro's in case she doesn't cooperate. So that she has said, but she says to do it with respect. But that is something which we cannot at the moment predict, because President Trump has completely, has given a clear indication that they will run the oil sector. They will take over all the oil fields, and American companies will be there, and they will, not run the country. He earlier said they would run the country, but now, in effect, I think they'll run it from the back. But yes, the current vice president of Venezuela will be the acting president. And I think she has to play her cards very carefully. And otherwise, the future seems very uncertain. And of course, as we have seen, and we have been, seeing what President Trump has been doing ever since he came to power in his second term. His approach to everything, to the world, to world events, are I think twofold. One is to protect America, MAGA, that is Make America Great Again, and the second is the declining power of the US dollar, and the fact that people meaning many other countries, are moving away from making dollars the sole currency. And whoever has not accepted that they have to, use the US dollar for all, especially for the petroleum and other products and and other trade-related transactions, he has made it clear that we are supreme, dollar is supreme, and we are the only superpower, and we will decide what needs to be done. It's not something that has happened before. Yes, everybody has acknowledged that US is the number one power, but the way he has gone about it, I think, is totally, breaking all laws, even within the country, as we have seen. He's not even taken congressional permission before taking whatever action he's doing with respect to tariffs, with respect to this particular operation, as he called it, the capture operation. Or kidnapping operation. So I think it's absolutely unpredictable and uncharted future lying in front, which we cannot at the moment predict with any certainty. And today he has also, President Trump has also issued threats to 5 other countries, and indirectly to India, also saying we'll increase more tariffs, otherwise you toe the line. So I think it is something that is we're going to see much more of it, and we can only hope that it will not lead to any actual physical, war, but this monetary kind of war, financial war, and this kind of operations, I think, may be replicated, especially in the Latin American countries, who are not, according to President Trump, favorably inclined to the US and not cooperating with the US. So I think. He has declared that is his sphere of influence, his meaning America's sphere of influence, and it is something that the US will determine, and everybody has to accept that it is the superpower, it is the main power in that region as well as in the world.
Okay, coming back to Venezuela, who benefits the most from Venezuelan oil resources now in this new scenario of an interim government, but Washington running it from the back end?
Absolutely. So the oil will be controlled by the US. The US companies will naturally be the beneficiaries, and they will decide how and to whom, it will be exported to. I believe that it was already being exported, and there were talks with China and Russia as well. And there was, I mean, Russia is of course the main defense supplier for Venezuela, and even for the oil fields and other resources. I think China was trying or has already got some of them, some of the oil reserves, and I believe that also may have been a kind of a trigger when for the US, that both Russia and China are increasing their presence and influence in Venezuela, which it considers its sort of a sphere of influence, and it was not prepared to accept that. And also, Venezuela had been exporting its oil below. Without utilizing the US dollar. So I think that is another area of concern for the US. So multiple factors have led to this, and he did give sufficient, I should say, notice to President Maduro, saying, "Please leave, please leave." But I think that message, the message was there, but he didn't really think anything would happen. But I believe that the way he has gone about it, he's now threatening Greenland, he's threatening Mexico, threatening Cuba, and all other countries in Colombia, in Latin America. So I think the future is fraught with a lot of danger and a lot of unpredictability and uncertainty, and we're not going to see a kind of positive world environment at the moment, and I think it will only worsen if things carry on like this. And there's no one to really stop the US president or put pressure on him to try and stop him in his tracks, not even his own in his own country. So I think things are not going to, they don't bode well for the world and for world peace.
Okay, the United Nations Security Council is to hold an emergency meeting to discuss the capture of Venezuelan president and his wife by the US under the agenda threats to international peace and security. Well, this has come on Colombia's request. Your comments on this symbolically important development?
I think it's only symbolic, as you very rightly said. It's important that it is from the symbolic point of view, because in effect it will, as we well know, UN is not really, it is not able to, enforce its writ. So even if it has come in, even if it is considered, or if it's even, introduced in the UNGA, it will have no meaning really. Even if, but I don't think there'll be too many people who would want to stick their neck out to annoy the US. And in the Security Council, in any case, the veto power exists with the US. So I believe it will not be really an effective, effective tool in any way to put any kind of pressure on the US. It is only, as you said, symbolic.
Okay, we leave it here. Thank you very much, Ambassador Manju Seth, for giving us your analysis and the volatile times that are ahead in the entire South American region.